Thanks for joining us. I'm Jonathan Carmody. Throughout all the years in our back to school months, we focused in on truancy, bullying, the cost of school supply lists, which is why every Friday and Saturday, the next couple of days until we get to the approach of the season 9 premiere, every month, every year we do our annual back to school month, where we give you as a child and the parents the tools that you need to make sure because we gotta get you ready for your child's first day back to school or your first day at school. And one thing that really takes the cake here when you're thinking about it, once you think about this case scenario, never mind. You're sitting in class and the teacher's teaching, and all of a sudden you hear, "Hey, did you watch that video?" And you're sitting there quiet while you're hearing, like you're next to this buddy right here, and you're sitting next to this buddy right here, and they're talking like, "Hey, did you watch the video last night?" "No, I didn't." And the teacher's like, "Hey, why are you talking while I'm teaching?" Then it's like the whole tune changed. And so it was. It's like this video we're about to show you.
Your favorite movies and shows together, because Disney.
Talking while the teacher is talking.
The first step is 2 plus 1, which is 3, multiplied by 4, and multiplied by 3. 4 times 3 is 12, 12 times 3 is 5.
36.
How should we get to it? Emily and Braylon, why are you talking while I'm teaching? I was explaining the problem. Braylon, was Emily explaining the problem to you? No. So I thought, bring me your grade. That's great.
It can also be like this.
Guys, when we're talking about cause and effect, we're basically discussing what. Okay. I guess I'll wait.
Oh,
No,
you just got
really, don't get
smacked.
shushing
You
them.
wanna-
No, I understand you're trying to help, but if they want to talk over me, that's on them.
Oh, wow! Yo, how does he even do that? Like,
Okay, Mark and Josh, since you two want to have a little talk show back there, why don't you come up here and teach the class, huh? Yeah, didn't think so. You know what? I want you two to separate. Yeah, please separate.
When is the right time to talk in class, talk in school? At lunch. The wrong time to talk to school is when the teacher is fucking teaching. The teacher wants to teach it. I don't care all about, what you gonna do this weekend? How was your weekend? Are you gonna play Xbox? You ain't telling me, do it look like I give a fuck? Because I don't give a fuck. If I was teaching the class and I overheard a conversation, it's like I want to be able to teach the class. I don't want to hear all about what Victoria's Secret. It's like I want to teach the class. I want to get through the lesson so that everybody can have free time, or everyone can just do their assignment and have their free time. It's like we have to do our work first before we do what we want to do. Like, talk to our friends, get on our phones. That's also the part of classroom disruption, the phones. As you remember, weeks ago, we focused on the school state law, which says that all schools need to have cell phone policies. But back then, schools created their own cell phone policies, which made the kids and the parents pay $15 up the ass.
Oh gosh, the subject's so boring. I didn't want to go to school today, but mom made. Did you do the homework? The subject is. I didn't. No, last night because I was playing Mario Kart. What? I said I didn't do my homework because I was playing Mario Kart all night. Jay! What? No. I promise I wasn't talking. It was not me now. Oh gosh, the subject's so boring. I didn't want to go to school today, but mom made.
Like, I know no one wants to go to school. We get that. Nobody wants to go to school, but people complain it's like the Nazi regime. You know? That's what people complain about these days. They complain about they don't want to go to school. They want to stay home and play video games all day. That's part of life. In life, you have to go to work, pay your bills, whatever, and then do whatever you want. You got to go to school throughout when you're 5 to 19 or 18. Then you can do whatever you want. Once you're if you're a junior graduating, you got one more year, then you can do whatever the hell you want. But kids think that school is a fucking joke to them. Because the teacher's just nothing but, to the kids, the teacher's just nothing but a hypocrite bitch. No offense. That's what the kids think. But in real life, you know, the teacher's trying to teach you things that you need to learn in life. You know, how to solve problems, how to do math, whatever. That's the basic goals. And when COVID hit, no one cared about their education. Constant lockdowns and whatever. So it's the facts, you know. The fact of the matter is, and the bottom line is, don't ever talk about teachers teaching. It's just, you know, it's just outrageous. We'll do more class discussion later. We'll do more class discussion later. Now, I said we're going to be taking second looks at all the issues we've done throughout our back to school months, but we're probably not focusing on the stereotypes. Next, the stereotypes and the types of kids you see. Next, we're going to focus in on high school, why it sucks. Next, we'll take a look at high school, why it sucks. Still ahead, pep rallies, and a second look at homework. Please stay with us. If there's one of the things that disrupts the classroom or disrupts our educational process, it's not just the dress codes. It's talking back to your teacher. It's like, Brandon, please sit down. No, I won't. That's back talk. You don't talk back to your teacher. When your teacher tells you to do something, you do it. You don't sit there and talk back and say, no, I will not. If you look at talking back to your teacher, videos surface like this.
Paul, talking back to your teacher.
You're late to my class. Why? You said the bell doesn't dismiss me, so that means it doesn't decide when I arrive. Oh, here we go. Just watch and learn. I've had a long day, okay? I do not need this type of attitude right now. Sorry, my car wouldn't start. Does that look like my fault? Did I blame you? Are you talking back to me? Yep, because that's how conversation works. Now you're getting it. Whatever. You still failed your exam. Huh, then you failed to teach me. Then you failed to listen. And you failed to interest me. Do you want to pass this class? Or do you want to pass away? I think I'll pick option number 1. I'll pass on this class. Goodbye.
Oh, talking back.
You don't ever talk back to your teacher. And like, look at this. Every video you see on the internet is kids talking back to to the teacher like they're so entitled, they're so spoiled, they're so rich. They're so rich, they don't have fucking life skills. Life skills is to them to other people. Life skills doesn't matter when kids are rich. It's like London Tipton's sister. It's like London Tipton has a twin sister. You have no right to talk back to your teacher. Period. Parents, if you get a phone call from your school saying that little Timmy talked back to Miss McElroy, or that if Derek talked back to Miss Pasternak, you as a parent need to say, why would you do that? Talk to them and say, you know what? This is unacceptable behavior. This is something you don't do. I mean, at the principal, it's like you talk back to your teacher. I mean, it's a problem, you know. When If the teacher tells you to do something like shut your mouth, keep your mouth shut. You don't ever talk to your teacher. Something like this would happen. 6.4 million views from Is That Sin? Take a look.
Get on Depop and save on your favorite brands. Find great deals.
Did I see you doing your work?
Barb, do you think I can't multitask? Do you think I'm slow? Do you think I can't talk and chill out? It's possible to talk and write? No, I can't even talk and write because I'm talking to you, and I feel like you're offending me. You know what I'm saying? It's not that hard to write and talk. I don't know what type of stupid dude you think I am, but I'm not that one. So I'm gonna get back to doing my homework. Okay, make a call home. Matter of fact, I'll call you right now.
Oh, excuse me. You're gonna ask to use my phone? What?
Who's gonna call my mom? Oh my
Did
God.
that say
Oh,
you?
Holly.
What?
This is third grade. What you mean? I'm getting my work done, so call her and tell her that. The only reason you don't want to call her right now is because you want to tell her a whole bunch of other stuff that I can't defend myself for. Oh my God. She think I was born yesterday. I'm gonna go back to doing my homework. I'm done. Shown below are images of the skeletal structure of the front limbs of 6 animals. Human, crocodile, whale, cat, bird, and bat. Each animal has a similar set of bones. Color code each of the bones according to this key. So I got a color code.
Okay.
So I need color pencils. Key, but if you... Thank you. Are you done? I'm not even trying to be disrespectful. It's just the fact that you're staring at me and I can't get my work done. And I'm getting frustrated, Carl. I'm getting frustrated. And you're still staring at me. What's going on?
You know, here's the thing. I guess I've never had anyone talk that way. So, yeah, I'll back away, Keith.
You hurt her feelings. What feelings did I
You're
hurt?
the first that has ever acted like that.
You gonna make her... Have you not been to this class every day, Barb?
You know what? We're not going to get into it. But you'll keep showboating.
Showboating what? That I'm doing my work? Okay.
Hey, Barb. I finished the packet. Thank you.
Oh, great. Okay. Here's this case scenario right here for this kid. Ask for colored pencils. If you don't have you're sitting there doing your work, it's like, I need colored pencils. If you don't have colored pencils, find a student that has colored pencils, ask to borrow them. People think, oh, school is so hard. I want to go home. I want to blah, blah, blah. School isn't hard. It's not hard for me. I went to school. I went to school every day. If I had a doctor's appointment, then I would be absent from school. But I would provide the school with a doctor's note. A little piece of paper which states that I went to the doctor. Hand that to the school, then they would mark me as excused. I got perfect attendance from 2010 and 2010 and 2012. 6th and freshman year. If you don't believe me, ask my old 6th grade teacher or ask the counselor. They'll tell you, yes, he has gotten. You don't believe me? Ask them. They'll tell you, yes, he has. Because that's a valid lesson. Coming up, a second look into excused versus unexcused. Please stay with us. Look at the comment section for the video. He actually has a valid point. The class is laughing, makes the teacher not take him serious. And I'm like, and this is me 2 years ago. Are you crazy? You know what they're pissed when they say, you know what? When he said, the only reason you don't want me to call her right now is so that you could tell her a bunch of other stuff I can't defend myself against. I'm going to call home. I'll call him. Man, this little boy looks like a teenager who's almost a man. And you're the first class I've ever acted this way. You're the worst class I've ever seen in my career. Every teacher ever. The only reason you want me to call my parents. I mean, I'm just trying to get back to my work done and you keep on staring at me. And you're still staring at me. Hey, Barb, okay. You think I was born yesterday? Yes, you're my baby. I'm not your baby. The thing you gotta understand here is this. I mean, if you have a problem with your teacher, or you have a problem with something, don't take out your frustrations. I get where people are coming from. Let me tell you something. In 5th grade, going back to talking in class, in 5th grade music class, our teacher was out. We had a substitute. And everybody was talking. Everybody was talking. The substitute couldn't teach. And we were like, shh. We were all shush. Because it was the substitute teacher. Like, everyone was like talking. At that point, I wanted to ask to use the bathroom. At that point, what I wanted to do, if I was going back to that year, I would have asked, may I please use the bathroom? Run in the hallway, go straight to Mr. Alvarado and say, hey, our class is not listening, the substitute is not doing anything, could you please do something about it? Or just go next door and say, hey, I need your help. Because substitutes are just waiting for the students to be quiet, and they're not being quiet. And then it's like, and I had done be like, what's going on? Well, she's trying to teach, and me and Acer, we were quiet. And we were all shh. And Adam here's like, nee, every time I say shush. Everyone just got out of the classroom and like, what is wrong with you? Why would you do this? And if he hadn't been on that note saying, Dear Miss so-and-so, your class, this is the worst class ever. Everybody was talking, 2 people were being quiet. One person came up and went to Mr. Alvarado, and the classroom was kept quiet during that time, and I could be able to continue teaching. And then all of a sudden, it would have been like, who did this? And whoever did this, stand up. And I would have stood up and say, it was me. I asked to use the bathroom, and in fact, I went to go to the teacher next door to quiet the class. 2 things would have happened. One, she would have been like, thank you, Jonathan, for helping me out. For helping out the substitute. I was like, why would you do that? Because everybody was talking. And, I wasn't the one talking. I was quiet the whole time. Me and Acer, we were all shush. Because we wanted to learn. We wanted the substitute to do what she wanted to do. Call attendance, give out assignments. Things substitutes would do. Would have been a huge argument. It's like, you know what, because of that, I'm going to take you to the office. And it wouldn't be just that, It would not be just that. What it would be is, this is what it would be. Me getting written up, my mom would have got involved, I would have told her the whole story, be like, look, the classroom was being disruptive, and everyone told their side of the story, phone calls from the parents, and be like, what the hell is wrong with you? Why would you do that? Or be like, he did the right thing, why am I getting called on? Because I stood up for what's right. Because we have substitute teachers who just care about their kids. They do qualify to be teachers. It's like, everyone wants to learn. We don't want to hear all about, what you want to do this weekend. We don't want to hear about all that nonsense. And so and then after that, Coach got in and after that, I don't know what happened after that, but if I had not went back to that year, if I had not helped out the substitute, everyone would have been quiet, and the story would have ended with me being the hero. And not a trip to the principal's office. Because everyone would have been written up that day. And their excuse was, we weren't talking. That's what everyone would say. Every child would defend themselves saying, like, oh, I wasn't the one talking. Everyone's always excuse. I wasn't talking. That's what everyone would say. I was not talking. I didn't do anything wrong. I wasn't talking. Yeah, you were. It's always the kids in the night. The mouth can lie, the brain can't. That's what it can remember. Well, like, remember when you forget excused versus unexcused absences. Earlier this year, we focused in, earlier a couple seasons or last season, we focused in on excused versus unexcused absences. That's the thing that you need to understand when your child's going back to school. Because in life, when you have work and you have a doctor's appointment, you must provide your boss or your supervisor with a doctor's note. A little piece of paper which states that you went to the doctor. If not, that can be considered an unexcused absence. The difference between excused and unexcused, an excused absence is a legitimate reason for a student's absence that is recognized and approved by the school. Typically with parental notification and other documentation allowing the student to make missed work. An unexcused absence is one that does not meet the school's criteria for an excused absence, meaning the school was not notified of the reason provided one is not considered valid or often results in consequences like inability to make up work or disciplinary actions. So what do public schools consider unexcused absence? Like, because in some cases, it's like, a doctor's note is just a little piece of paper. So, looking at some examples, it's like illness, medical dental appointments, Ricard County court appointments, religious reasons, driving tests, serious family emergencies, funeral, i.e. funeral, special requests from parents, prearranged assistant principal, family vacation or sporting events. All this right here needs to be notified and documented with the school. Unexcused absence is like oversleeping, alarm, arriving to school 10 minutes before the start of school or checking out more than 10 minutes before the end of the day without acceptable reason, leaving school during regular school day without approval from the school official or other non-emergency situations, personal grooming appointments, hair, nails, tanning, etc., employment, job interview, errands, driver's education, classroom behind the wheel, skipping class, leaving campus without following proper procedure, family vacations that had not been pre-approved, needing at home, babysitting, car trouble, missing the bus, missing a ride, needing sleep or rest. Because after all this, it's a pre-recorded phone call. I've had that happen. You get a pre-recorded message saying that, hey, your student was out, please send us an excuse. Now, when COVID-19 hit, they went to remote learning, it was like, okay, what do we do? If the child is not at school or not on their computer, and they're absent. A pre-recorded message from the principal like, hey, your student was out, please send us an excuse. That brings us to our second look for our back to school month, which is parents being arrested for their child's absences. We focused in on this for our second look. So you look up parents being arrested for truancy. Something like this. We done a Throwback Thursday where we talked about it. These two right here would be a good example. And when I first heard this story, I laughed at their excuse. It was 20 years since 2005 that... Look at this. It has been 20 years since these two parents allow their kids to miss school. Since 2005. That was 20 years ago. And no one stepped up, and these two not stepped up the fucking plane. They probably learned their lesson while they was in jail. Take a look.
These two Georgia parents, Ryan and Stephanie Kane, face charges for a crime you don't often hear about. They may be punished for not sending their kids to school. Truancy.
Channel 4's Chris Brento is joining us live. Chris, police say they had no choice but to charge these two.
They do. That's the claim, according to the St. Mary's Police Department, that these parents allowed their children to miss so much time from school without any excuses that they had to make an arrest. That comes even after the mother had signed an agreement with the school district that she would get things under control and the students wouldn't miss any more time. According to the St. Mary's Police Department, Ryan and Stephanie Kane are both facing 4 counts of not sending their children to school, each a misdemeanor. Police say from 2005 through this year, the 4 children have combined for 81 unexcused absences and 117 unexcused tardies. Police say February 9th, the mother was ordered to go before the school board and signed an attendance agreement guaranteeing her children would regularly attend class.
Since that attendance agreement was signed on February 9th, we have an additional 8 days of unexcused absences and an additional 5 days of tardies for pretty much each of the children. They're required to attend some sort of school, and if they fail to attend some sort of school, whether it be private or homeschool or public school, they would be in violation of this law.
We went by an address listed for the family last night to try to talk to the parents. A woman said from behind the door that they were not interested in talking. According to investigators, the reason the parents gave to the school district for why the children were missing so much school time was because they didn't have a working alarm clock.
Sold out. Sold me out. Yes, sold me out for 20 years, and yet you tell the school, we do not have an alarm clock. Son of a bitch! What is wrong with you? You don't have an alarm clock? You have a fucking phone. You have an alarm clock. Give your child a fucking phone. Give them an alarm clock. Wake their asses up. It's that simple. You parents out there, Steph, you signed that attendance agreement. Your signature. You signed it. And now you continue doing this. You failed your child. Oh, no, I didn't. You did. You failed her. Hey, look, if I was set up here in front of her, she can cry, and I don't give a damn. If you don't know how to raise kids, don't be having children. Don't be having kids. Don't ever be having kids. That's exactly what I'm saying. If you don't know how to take a child to school, don't be having kids. Of course, Dad would be like, I should have used a condom. That's every parent's excuse. Or, I go get milk and run for 10 years. It... Yeah, I told you one of mine. Okay, I got it. We're off track here. The thing I understand here is this. These two parents right here, they failed.
Children to...
Look at this. These two failed. For 20 years. They stepped up to the plate? No. since 2005. And now it's been It's been 20 years. This was reported 13 years ago. This is from 5 years ago. Anything that removes freedom and shifts power to authorization calls for the immediate use of loophole provided. School is about 1 hour of actual instruction. I can't call it education because it's the most will go unused and ultimately forgotten. The rest of the time is spent mind-numbing busy work, homeschool your kids. Delete anything they do on their own except maybe shooting heroin and smoking crack unless waste of time. There's also something like this. In California, if your child was not in school, you as a parent can be arrested. And states are very strict about truancy. California is very strict about truancy, and so is the state of Iowa. The state of Iowa is very strict about truancy, that they arrested one mother years ago because of their child's absence. We'll get to that story in just a minute. We'll play you this when we come back. It's our second look edition of our Back to School Month, and tonight we're focusing on the issues that we focusing on the issues that really can help you as a parent and for your child. Now we first focused in on truancy throughout all the years of this broadcast, from truancy court to the laws of your state, to even what can happen with truancy officers, to even a kangaroo truancy court. But the main thing we focused in on was parents getting arrested for their child's truancy. We showed you 2 parents that were arrested back in years ago because since 2005, the Kane family has been arrested for not sending their children to school, which is a misdemeanor. In another state, in Montgomery County, a judge created a Star Right program which specifically states that the child is here absent if they miss more days without an excuse. The Star Right program has done that. They've arrested parents, dragged them to court, and they spent, and according to the state, it's like 6 months in jail and a $1,000 fine. And a lot of parents are all like saying, well, we just moved from different houses, or I don't have an alarm clock. That's not an excuse, absence. But for these parents, it's like for the parents, it's like officers, it's like, okay, we're going to work with the district attorney and just take a look at this.
My son is in a charter school program, and they still arrested me.
Tonight, this mother who would not give us her name was released after spending the entire day locked up at the Sacramento County Jail.
How did you feel, though, to be arrested today? It's degrading, it's humiliating, it's harassment.
Today, 100 officers throughout Sacramento joined forces with the district attorney's office to arrest nearly 40 parents who had warrants for not sending their children to school.
The importance is that we want to get a message to the parents that you need to send your kids to school every day and be on time every day. We want to get those kids educated so they don't fall in the cracks, they don't get in trouble with the law.
It's a message this parent got quickly. When she was released from jail this evening, she was too upset to talk. Her brother Richard, who would only give us his first name, told us the truancy sweep targeting parents was unfair and humiliating.
Well, I'm not happy because I feel it was a waste of time. I feel that they could have spent this time going after criminals, looking for a child, not doing a truancy sweep.
See the hoods that they're wearing, obviously they know the school has cameras.
Vince Matrenga is the police chief for the Sacramento City Schools. He can only hope this sweep will get more students in the classroom during school hours and fewer teens destroying school property after hours.
When kids don't go to school, everyone loses.
Many parents are bailing out of jail tonight, but one mother who's been arrested before will have to stay here for 45 days. In Sacramento, Leticia Ordaz, KCRA 3 reports.
Are you And it can happen to every parent. Every parent does not do their homework. Nobody knows the laws of the state. Find out your state laws about truancy. And maybe then you'll know about why your child needs to go to school, why it's very important. We've also asked the question, and throughout the years, we've been asking the question, should parents be arrested if your child plays hooky? That's the hot button. That was the hot button almost 10 years ago on the TV show The Doctors, where they talked about criminalizing parents because their children were being truant. Here's a second look into this. We showed you this many times, and I've been back to school, and so I figured we're gonna revisit this.
Plays hooky. With more and more states targeting parents with absentee kids, could you be next? Well, should parents be held responsible if their child plays hooky? We asked family and child development expert Dr. Gail Gross to join in on the discussion. Should parents ever be responsible if their child plays hooky?
Well, you know, there's a difference between being responsible and putting somebody in jail and making truancy criminal. When a child commits truancy, you know that something else is going on. It's a symptom of something else going on. So the majority of people, kids that commit truancy, are being bullied at school, and they are staying away from school because they're being bullied. So, you know, parents are important to children. If we make your mother a jailbird, what is that saying to the child?
So a lot of potential problems with this, clearly. Now, and also there's the other angle, which is a dysfunctional family, and all of a sudden the child's, ooh, I can skip school and get mom and dad in jail. You know, there's just a lot of potential issues here.
Good point.
Think about that. You know, and there would be situations where that would occur.
I'm probably going to get in trouble for this, but I just got an email from my son's school. Yes, it's true that he has to serve a detention because, and I said, what is this? He's a senior in high school, and he said, oh, Mom, I was 10 minutes late for school, and I didn't sign in late. So they send an email.
They're putting kids in detention
Stand
for
up.
being 10 minutes late.
I should have done
Hands behind your back. We're taking you off. We'll see how a month in jail.
Right, for being late.
It's just one more example of the system hindering people more than helping.
Yes.
And why do we not put the onus on the school? The educators, give them the resources that they need.
Well, I think it has to be shared, right? And I personally, I mean, everyone has an opinion on this, and everyone's entitled to their opinion, especially as a parent, because that's kind of a sacred territory, right? You know, I think that we should cut every parent some slack to have their opinion about how they want to raise their child. But I really believe that time is basically shared 50-50. 50% of the child or teenager's daytime hours are spent in school, 50% are spent under the family auspices. And so I yield to the educators as experts to do their part, and then I don't want them stepping into my lane to tell me how to do my part. So I think it's really a two-way.
But you're also in a situation where, admittedly, your kids go to school, you've instilled that in. I'm thinking more of, you know, when kids are truant when they skip class for 5, 6, 7 times a year, they're often coming from families where the parents are struggling. They don't maybe even have the tools and resources they need to properly parent, meaning they're not sure how to deal with it. So throwing them in jail, that's not helping. There's no way that's going to solve the problem.
If you break up families, all you're doing is complicating the problem. It's a system gone amok. And at the end of the day, we can find other ways to discipline children. You know, as a mom, and you soon will be a mom, you'll note that all you have to do is find the button and push it. Take away their driver's license. Take away their cell phone. There are other ways to discipline a child that will make a difference.
And I do think we can all agree that it's counterproductive to arrest parents, using resources, social workers, educators coming together, figuring out what's the problem, how can we solve it. Putting mom and dad in jail, probably not the answer. We'll be right back.
And I'll tell you, Texas was the first state to decriminalize truancy. It's because of what the Justice Department has found in Dallas County. Now, here we're part of Dallas County. You might have heard about the story of when Texas decided when they decided to decriminalize truancy. And in 2003, if you're telling them to go to school, then they would have to wear ankle monitors. They had to wear ankle monitors. The child would wear ankle monitors, and the child was in cuffs because they want to go to school. But years ago, state lawmakers made sweeping changes. Let's take a look.
Going to school, truancy has been a crime in Texas, but today that all changed. A new state law no longer treats students who skip school as criminals, and Fox 4's Sean Rabb is in our Dallas newsroom with details on the change. Sean.
You know, Steve, many people argued that treating kids who played hooky a lot had excessive absences. They argued, well, that if they treated them like criminals, that's where the pipeline to prison began. Before today, a guilty plea could lead to time in the juvenile justice system. But with the Justice Department looking at how kids who skip school were being treated in Dallas County, state lawmakers made sweeping changes to truancy laws. Students being hauled in handcuffs and forced to wear ankle monitors because of skipping school, now in the history books.
We decriminalize it. It's no longer a crime.
Effective today, new truancy laws make it a civil, not criminal violation for a child to have up to 10 unexcused absences in a 6-month period.
We reduce the cost from $500 to $50 as it relates to court costs. We allow expunction of records. We tell the districts to kind of look at different alternatives.
Alternatives to quickly filing truancy cases on students. School districts now challenged to try and get to the root cause of the problem with each pupil.
Through conferences, through communication with the families, that's when you begin to learn what may be holding a student back, what challenges may be ahead.
While lawmakers decriminalize truancy for the students, parents will still be held criminally liable for their child not being in school.
But you have to change your focus from more punitive to more helping, more caring, more empathy, more outreach.
Once you have a situation where a kid is labeled a criminal, guess what ends up happening? They become a criminal. We should be able to find different ways in order to keep these kids in school without having to make them criminals.
Now, 4 categories of students cannot be filed on period if their absences are connected to their situation. That's pregnant students, homeless students, students in foster care, and students who are the primary wage earners for their families.
Sean, I'm curious, Andre Riley there, does he acknowledge this is going to maybe put a little more pressure on teachers and the school and the school districts to kind of be a little more involved in these kids' lives?
They absolutely have to be more involved with the students' lives. It's going to require teachers and others in the district who are focused on truancy to kind of begin to really log those absences, approach a kid, and then the main thing that Andre talked about is the district's going to really become engaging with the parents. Emails, phone calls, letters, saying, hey, let's have a conference about your child. Let's figure out what's going on at home, how we can help.
Okay, Sean Rabb in the Dallas Newsroom. Thanks.
All right.
We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Every state may have their own laws about truancy. In the state of California,
Dad,
it's like
what
this.
happens if I miss school or I'm late to school?
Great question. Here under California law, if you're truant, as defined by California law, what that means is you miss 3 or more days of school without an excuse, you are tardy 3 or more times without an excuse, or you miss school 3 times for 30 minutes or more. California defines you as truant. Now, what happens if you're truant and you have these unexcused absences at least 3 times? Your parents could be charged under Penal Code Section 270.1 for failure to supervise their children and not allowing them to go to school. It is a misdemeanor. You can also be charged with Penal Code Section 272, contributing to the delinquency of a minor. So kids, be careful.
Dad, what happens if I miss school?
It's what can happen. There are consequences to truancy. Jail time. It'll affect your grades. It won't just affect your grades. It's going to affect the school. School loses money. You know the number one issue, the number one cause of truancy? It's bullying. Back in 2020 when the COVID-19 pandemic hit and truancy was up on the rise, COVID-19 was number one while bullying became number two. But when the pandemic was over, bullying came back at number one. It's all because the kids were being bullied. And they're staying away from school because they don't want to be bullied. And now Texas is probably going to get rid of the decriminalization of truancy.
Well, the Texas Education Agency is reviewing truancy data statewide after KPRC2 Investigates started asking questions about schools' efforts to keep kids in class.
Investigator Robert Arnold found hundreds of districts potentially failing to comply with truancy prevention laws. Now, Robert is here with us this morning. Robert, good morning. HISD is one of them.
Yes, but first I want to get to talking about why it is so important to address truancy, and I'll let the experts explain. Here's Dr. Bob Sanborn with Children at Risk and Mike Matranga. He's a retired Secret Service agent and now vice chair for the National Council for School Safety Directors.
Once you miss a class, it's easier to miss more. You learn less, and you don't want to go back to school many times. These are kids that are bound to be dropouts. These are kids that are going to be part of a society that can't find a job, that have a harder time finding a job, that aren't going to college. I think these are people that really aren't, these kids are just not maximizing themselves when they're absent from school.
Where does truancy fit into safe schools?
Truancy, from my perspective, is a big factor in those that are on a pathway to violence. Truancy, along with academic decline and discipline increase, are three of the largest factors of identifying someone that's maybe wanting to harm themselves or others.
Exactly right. Not many people are dealing with the truancy because, you know, so here's the thing though, if your child's truant, parents, don't engage them. Talk to them, say, hey Billy, what's going on? What's going on at school? Why are you not going to school? Because I'm being bullied. If you hear that phrase, you need to talk to your child immediately and say, who's been picking on you? If they don't want to say, don't engage them and say, boy, you don't tell me who picked on you, I'm going to slap the shit out of you. No, you talk to your child and say, if they don't want to talk to you about it, then just say, hey, I don't even want to go to school. I'll tell you, just talk with the principal. Schedule a conference with your principal or your teacher and say, look, my child's scared to go to your class today because he feels he's being bullied. But he won't say. And then, if that doesn't work, you know, they'll address the elephant in the room with the principal. And it's like, I need more detail. Who are these kids? And they start, and finally, it's like, you can trust people, blah, blah, blah. So the names, it's in the names, it's like, okay, we'll take care of it. When in fact, it's like, you know, no one cares about bullying. And, you know, we're going to talk about that on tomorrow's Back to School Month because there's a lot of bullying we addressed. But part of it is, telling is not tattling. It's like I said when we on season 8. Telling is not tattling. When you go to somebody in authority and say you're being bullied, you know what they get? It's like, that's not tattling. That's helping them out. Kids have been arrested for not going to school as well, even in Springfield. There are consequences when your child doesn't go to school, like jail. Parents can go to jail and the child went up in foster care. And so when stuff like this happens, you know that something's going on. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. We're fast approaching the 2025-2026 school year. That's going to mean that nobody knows about the dress code. And throughout the years, it's been a whole controversy of kids being in violation of the dress code. They'll cry to their parents, and then they'll go to the media. Saying oh, this shirt's out of dress code, and then they just go to the media and just cry and say, hey, this, and that. Just like this one. This was back in February.
Exclusive. Girls are overly targeted by Clovis Unified Student Dress Code. Here's the data. Kaini Holopatiphone and her friend were walking across the Buchanan High School campus on a crisp fall afternoon when they were...
Just read this out. The Bushman High School senior wore the sweater often in school in the past 3 years, including early in the fall semester, without drawing any attention. But look at the dress code policy by school year. There's the data. This was almost 5,000 females from the 2023-2024 school year. 2 years. And then 2022, 2023, the number reduced down to this many, 25. In the fall of 2024, all this was targeted towards the women. And by grade level, by females, 7th through 7th, this is the highest one ever has to be in the 9th grade, 816. That was during 2022-2023. And in the 8th grade, 8th grade females, over 1,100 8th grade kids. Fall, highest was 643. And look at the disciplinary action by this. After school detention. Highest one was just warning and counseled, over 2,000. Fall 2024, warning counseled, 2,000. Highest one ever from 2024. Over 3,300. Just warning and counseled. I'd often say to everybody, hey, just follow the dress code. And even from back in May, a 12-year-old stands up, was out of dress code, sent home for a dress code after 12 years old, and principal bring up attorney. What a joke. This video was on TikTok. And now the video is unavailable, and we can't show it to you. It showed the conversation between a pair and a girl, close to 10 million views and 4 million likes. The 12-year-old was wearing a t-shirt with yoga pants and were reportedly sent home by principal of Ford Middle School in Tomoka. It sparked fierce debate online, which many saying dress codes are sexist. And it's all over the video. Every video you see on TikTok is about getting dress coded. It's like nobody understands why dress codes are put in place. distraction to the educational process. Which brings us back to disruptions to the educational process. Dress codes have been the issue of disruptions in our educational process, you know. When it was back in the day of dress codes, it targeted females. That sparked huge debates. That sparked a huge debate over what the boys can wear this, but the girls can't. It's like the girls are too distracting when the boys aren't. Sexist. Take a look at this girl. She was dress coded because of this shirt. Because of the shirt she was wearing. It was this shirt right here what she was wearing. It got her suspended. Take a look at this.
I'll never wear a shirt.
Summer knew when she wore that shirt to Hickory Ridge High.
I had it right here, so the tops of my shoulders.
She could be violating the dress code.
It's usually taken really seriously.
The school makes it clear off-the-shoulder tops are not allowed, and the principal came to enforce it in the cafeteria.
She came up to me, she said, "Do you have a jacket?" I said, "No, I don't."
A friend gave Summer one of hers. She thought that was the end of it.
And then I, pulled it up. Pulled the jacket over, it zipped up the jacket.
But Summer says the principal wasn't satisfied, ordered her to go to the office to change. The honor roll senior has had issues with the principal before, to the point where her mother had to get involved.
I said, "I apologize, but I can't go anywhere with you unless my mom is on the phone."
So Summer sat and waited for her mom's call. That's when Summer says the principal called the SRO for backup.
Officer Elwood was within 5 feet of me, had his hand on his gun. She said, "I'm going to give you an ultimatum. We have tried to call your mother. You either come with me to the control room to change your shirt, or we will arrest you."
Summer's mom would eventually call back, so she agreed to go to the office. But by then it was too late. The senior with a 4.4 GPA, suspended for 10 days, told she can't walk at graduation.
A full ride means so much, and that is on the line right now.
Her future possibly stripped, all because of a shirt. Summer says it's a lot to shoulder.
It's just sad because I worked so hard for 4 years to walk across that stage, and we have drug dealers walking across that stage, and we have sex offenders walking across that stage, and then the 4.4 student who shoulders can't.
So this is the official suspension letter, and you can see right here the reason for her suspension, technically not the dress code violation, but rather insubordination. It goes on to say that Summer didn't listen, she denied that her shirt was ever a problem. Her mother, though, says she plans on appealing. Reporting live.
And after that story aired, floods of phone calls to the principal were like threats. Threats to the principal saying, this is outrageous, this and that. Because this gained a lot of attention. Take a look at this.
Punished for not following the school's
broke this story last week, and now it has gone viral. People writing to Hickory Ridge High from all over the world. The sheriff's office telling us they've received 5,000 phone calls and emails, some of them threatening, and the sheriff's office is investigating.
I had it right here.
A collarbone creates a backlash no one saw coming. An honor roll student suspended after a dress code violation.
Full ride means so much, and that is on the line right now.
Summer wore a top that showed her shoulders and back. When confronted by the principal, Summer covered up. The principal told Summer to go to the office anyway, and she refused.
I stayed in my seat, just like a lot of role models that I have looked up to stayed in their seats.
She was slapped with a 10-day suspension for insubordination and banned from walking at graduation. Well, the sheriff's office says 5,000 people have now written letters and called Hickory Ridge High's principal, blasting her decision.
Where does this stop?
The sheriff's office says they're investigating emails threatening to harm the principal. And after rumors of students planning to protest in support of Summer, the school now scaling back a senior award ceremony this week.
The only seniors that will be participating in Senior Awards Day are those who are recipients of an award or a scholarship.
Summer would have been honored at that ceremony. Not now. Instead, she sits at home, her future hanging in appeals.
It's just sad because I worked so hard for 4 years to walk across that stage.
The school system's still not commenting on this case, and they won't tell us whether Summer will be allowed to walk. The sheriff's office says they've never seen anything like this before. Reporting in Cabarrus County, I'm Tanya Mendez, NBC Charlotte.
Turning out to the fourth.
Well, how about something like this? 100 suspensions given out to kids. It was 100 kids. Take a look.
The Tobacco 21 law helps ensure that nobody under the age of 21 can purchase tobacco products such as cigarettes, vapes, and any other nicotine products.
Retailers don't sell tobacco to anyone under 21.
More than 100 suspensions handed out there at Wilby High.
The big lesson at Wilby High School these days, pay attention to the dress code or you'll end up like these students and more than 100 others who were suspended last Friday.
They stopped me in the hallway, they rolled me up, told me to go to the office, and that's why I got suspended. But which wasn't fair.
Michael and his friend, who was also suspended, were surprised.
They weren't the only ones who were surprised. Some were members of the Waterbury Board of Education, and they wrote the policy. Listen to their reaction when News 8 asked them about all these suspensions.
I was shocked. Bob Brenker is the Chief Operating Officer for the Waterbury Public School District. He agrees with Michael because he says Michael and other students should not have automatically been suspended, according to the Board of Education dress code policy guidelines written in July of 2005.
We didn't follow the 4 steps that are right in this policy.
Those state that if it's a student's first offense, that student should get a written warning, not a suspension. The second offense is a detention. A 1-day suspension doesn't come until the 4th time a student violates the dress code. Many students wish.
And honestly, this whole dress code, I feel like it should just go away.
Brenker disagrees with that. He says the board believes dress codes enhance the learning environment in schools. He just says the principal may have handed out many of the suspensions too soon, in violation of the board's own policy.
We didn't follow our own policy. As adults, we should follow our policy too. So now we've taught students that if they do something wrong, it's okay, they'll be disciplined for it. But what happens to the adults, the people that do the suspensions? We should know better.
In Waterbury, LaSalle Blanks, News 8.
Not just know better, but do better. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Tomorrow we're going to continue our back-to-school second look into bullying and what you can do to prevent it and all the clips we talked about throughout the years. That's all for now. I'm John the Carpenter. Thanks for watching.